Welcome viewers to the another session of microbiology for nurses. In this video, we will see about antibiotics and chemotherapy related to microbiology. So the objectives of this video includes terminologies related to antibiotics, basic mechanism of antibiotics, antimicrobial resistance, antibiotic susceptibility testing, complications of antimicrobial chemotherapy and antibiotic policy. So antibiotics and its relation towards microbiology we will discuss in this video. So there are some basic terminology or the words which we will be discussing in this slides. The first one is antibiotics. So what is antibiotics? It's a substance that are produced by some microorganisms that can kill or inhibit the growth of organism. So it is nothing but the substance which kills or inhibits the growth of microorganism. We call it as antibiotics. What is chemotherapy? The chemical compounds that are used to kill or inhibit the growth of microorganism already established in the tissues of the body. So the body will have some tissues which will inhibit or kill the microorganisms, and if we use it, we say it as chemotherapeutic agents. Antibacterial, substance that acts against the bacteria. So antibiotics will act like an antibacterial or antimicrobial. So there are different terminologies we use like antimicrobials, antibacterials, antibiotics. So all are almost same, like the substance which acts against microorganisms. So where the antibiotic derived from? So it is a Greek word, that is anti means against and bios means life. It is the substance that kills or inhibits the growth of microorganisms. So if we see the history of antibiotic, there are two important people we should talk about. The first one is Paul Ehrlich, who is the father of chemotherapy, who used mustard gas as an chemotherapeutic agent. And then Alexander Fleming, who is the founder of penicillin, the first and foremost antibiotic, even nowadays we are using it, who is known as father of antibiotics. And antibiotics is of two types. As we discussed in definition, we say that it kills or inhibits. So the substances which kills the microorganism, we say it as bactericidal, and the substance which inhibits the microorganism growth, we say it as bacteriostatic. So there are two types of antibiotics. The main classification, that is bacteriostatic and bactericidal. Bactericidal is the substance which kills the microorganisms, and bacteriostatic is the substance which inhibits the microorganism. The next is basic mechanism of antibiotics. We will not be discussing about each and every type of antibiotics here because it's microbiology, and we will be discussing the basic mechanism, how the antibiotic acts in the bacteria. So there are 5 basic mechanisms which we discuss here. The first one is inhibition of nucleic acid synthesis. So here what happens? The antibiotics will block the nucleic acid synthesis in the bacteria, which destructs the bacterial growth. So the nucleic acids are of two types. You all know that in DNA and RNA. So the antibiotics which inhibits the DNA synthesis, the examples are quinolones, that is ciprofloxacin, and metronidazole, and of the common antiprotozoal medicine. So the bacteria are killed by inhibition of the DNA synthesis or inhibition of the RNA synthesis. The best example of inhibition of RNA, rifampin, that is rifampicin, the drug which we use in the tuberculosis, and bactracin. The next mechanism is alteration and injury to the plasma membrane. So it will inhibit or break and give an injury to the bacterial cell wall where the plasma membrane is present. The best examples of these type of mechanism of action, the drug of choice is polymyxin and bactericin. So alteration and injury to the plasma membrane or cytoplasm of the bacteria. The next one is anti-metabolite activity. So here what happens? It will break the metabolism of the bacteria. That is, the examples are sulfonamides and trimethoprim. And the next is inhibition of cell wall synthesis. So the bacterial cell wall has peptidoglycan, which is a layer, protein layer. So this antibiotic will break the cell wall. That is the peptidoglycan protein layer in the cell wall. The examples are beta-lactam antibiotics and vancomycin. Inhibition of protein synthesis. It will break the protein synthesis in the bacteria, or it will stop the protein synthesis of the bacteria. The examples are aminoglycosides, tetracycline, macrolides, all these things. So the basic mechanism of antibiotics, there are of 5 types, how it acts on the bacteria. The first one is it will inhibit the nucleic acid synthesis. Either it will break the DNA or RNA. Alteration and injury to the plasma membrane. Anti-metabolite activity, it will stop the metabolism of the bacteria. Inhibition of cell wall synthesis and inhibition of protein synthesis. So this is how the antibiotic acts on the bacteria. The next is antimicrobial resistance. When we give antibiotic, if we are not following the policy, if we are not properly diagnosing and giving the antibiotics, what happens? The microorganisms gets resistant to the antibiotics. So this is a major problem happening nowadays, because we have plenty of antibiotics available, and if we are not knowing the exact or proper use of antibiotics, what happens? They will misuse the antibiotics, leads to antibiotic resistant bugs. So in recent years, the resistance to microbial agents has emerged as a major challenge for treating infection. When we talk about this antimicrobial resistance, we are hearing nowadays related to black fungus, where the problem is due to the resistance and the immunosuppression happens because of the wrong usage of drugs. So whenever you use any drug, especially antibiotic, we should use cautiously. There are 2 types of resistance generally happens because of this antimicrobial agents. One is intrinsic resistance and acquired resistance. Intrinsic resistance, where the organism develops resistance by inheritance or genetic makeup. So from one person to another person, in the same generation, the intrinsic resistance is genetically inherited from one person to other in the family. So this is where the organism has the resistance inside the body. The next one is acquired resistance, where it happens because of the wrong use of antibiotics. So acquired resistance occurs due to genetic mutation in bacteria due to overuse of antibiotics. So due to the overuse or a wrong use of antibiotic, genetic mutation of the bacteria develops, which will give a antibiotic resistant superbug. Classification of resistance as per the number of drugs. So as per the number of drugs resistant to for the person, we classify the antibiotic resistance as MDR, that is multi-drug resistance, where they will have drug resistance to so many drugs, multi-drugs. The next one is XDR, that is extensively drug resistant. What happens? This person will have resistant to so many bacteria except very few. So for them, the drug of choice or the antibiotic choice is very less. So that is XDR, that is extensively drug resistant. And there are people who has PDR, that is pan drug resistance, where they are completely resistant to all the antibiotics. So this happens because of the wrong usage of antimicrobial agents. So a classification of the resistance is of 2 types. The first one is intrinsic and acquired resistance. Intrinsic is happening inside the organism. Acquired as he got it from because of abnormal use of antibiotics where the genetic mutation happens in the bacteria. The classification of resistance as per the number of drugs, we classify it as MDR, XDR, that is extensively drug resistant, PDR, that is pan drug resistant, where the person is resistant to all the bacteria. When we talk about this antibiotic resistant, you should remember these superheroes or super bugs in our hospital settings. So there are infections which are difficult to control and which are really formed because of the antimicrobial overuse or abnormal use. So these are all the super bugs which are difficult or challenging in the medical field to treat them. So the first one is MRSA, that is methicillin resistant Staph aureus or Staphylococcus aureus. VRSA, that is vancomycin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. ESBL, extended spectrum beta lactam, and then VRE, that is vancomycin resistant Enterococcus. So these are all some of the superbugs, and there are few more actually formed nowadays. Like all these drugs are superbugs. Why we call it as superbugs? It's difficult to treat by the antibiotics what is available now on us, because the vancomycin is the highest, strongest antibiotic we have, and if the patient is resistant to that vancomycin, then the patient has a very less drug of choice to treat the infection. MRSA is methicillin resistant, so it means all the penicillin antibiotics will be mostly resistant to the bacteria or the infection. So as a nurse, we should be aware of all these super bugs in our hospital setting. The next is antibiotic susceptibility testing. How we can test which antibiotic is sensitive to the organism. This is mostly done in the lab by two types. One is dilution test and the diffusion test. So the diffusion test is a very common one which we are using nowadays. Dilution test is less used. A suitable dilution of broth culture of the bacterium is inoculated. So what they do is they take the antibiotic in a solution and they will inject the bacterium inside the antibiotic, and they will see how the growth of the bacteria. They will observe the growth of the bacteria. So they will take all the antibiotic and they make it as a broth, and they will put the bacteria inside and see how the bacteria is growing. So this is a dilution test which is not very commonly done. There is a diffusion test. So what happens is, in a disc there will be microorganism. They will grow the microorganism, that bacteria, and then they will put small dose of antibiotics, different antibiotics in that single disc. So the drug is allowed to diffuse through a solid medium where the bacteria is grown, and the zone of growth inhibition is measured around the bacteria. So this is diffusion test. The next is complication of antimicrobial therapy. As we discussed, when we discussed about the resistance of antimicrobial therapy, you know that is a major complication here when we use an antimicrobial agent. So here you can see in this picture or the cartoon, the MRSA, the superbug, has grown bigger and bigger because of the too many antibiotic injections. So more abnormal or wrong antibiotic suggestions may lead to the resistant which grows bigger and stronger. So development of drug resistance is a major complication in antimicrobial therapy. So whenever you have a chance to give antibiotics or to use the antibiotics or prescribe, you have to remember this in your health. Okay, drug toxicity, that is toxicity develops because of abnormal use or wrong use of antimicrobial therapy. Superinfection, that is all the superbugs may come. Hypersensitivity reactions, that is allergic reaction happens, or the hypersensitivity reaction happens because of the antimicrobial therapy. So these are all the main complications of wrong antimicrobial therapy, that is development of resistance, drug toxicity, super infection or super bugs, and hypersensitivity. So we should actually accept the antibiotic policy, and you should follow it strictly to reduce all these complications. So what are all the antibiotic policy? Generally the policy will be written by the hospital setting, and it should be followed. So but it differs from one hospital to the other hospital setting, but there should be basic things which you should remember, that antibiotic should not be given for trivial infections. What are all the policies is antibiotic should not be given for trivial infections. That means very minor infections which it can be treated easily. Better not to administer antibiotic. You should give antibiotics when the infection is severe or really needed to be treated with an antibiotic. For example, this viral flu, if it is a viral, then there is no use of administering antibiotics in that case. So there are doctors who prescribe when the patient has a fever, immediately they consider it and start with an antibiotic. So you should remember that you have to find out whether the infection is really to be treated with an antibiotic. They should be used for prophylaxis only in special circumstances. This is becoming trend now, that any kind of procedure or surgery, immediately they start the patient on prophylaxis. That means preventively we start them on antibiotic before the surgery or before the procedure. So even minor procedures, sometimes they start with an prophylactic antibiotic which will be given for 3 days or 5 days. So it should be specifically see whether there is any need for the prophylaxis. Treatment should be given as per clear clinical or bacteriological diagnosis. So you have to start the antibiotic only when there is a clear picture of what organism it is or what kind of bacteria it is. So after the clear diagnosis only we should start the patient on antibiotic. Antibiotic should be started after sending the sample for culture. This is very important aspect, especially from the nurses, because when the doctor writes the order, we are not supposed to immediately start the antibiotic. You have to see whether the sample for the culture is collected or not. So before collecting the sample for culture, we are not supposed to start the antibiotic, because that will confuse the diagnosis. So before starting antibiotic, you have to see, is there any culture to be sent? Either it is urine culture or blood culture has to be collected before starting the antibiotic. And the medication should be altered as per the sensitivity test. Once the sensitivity or the culture report comes, you have to check whether your antibiotic, what you are giving to the patient, is sensitive or resistant. So according to that, you have to change the antibiotic. When giving antibiotic for systemic infection, it should be given as a full therapeutic dose for adequate period. When we give antibiotic for the infection, you have to give it according to the dose and as well as the period. So if it is for twice a day, then it has to be taken twice a day, and 5 days or 7 days. A complete course has to be completed with the antibiotic. This is a very important aspect you should teach the patient, because if they break the antibiotic therapy in between, or if they are not completing it, so the organism won't be eradicated and they will develop resistant. So you have to educate the patient that the dose and the time period exactly. Combined dose of 2 or more antibiotic is needed in some clinical conditions. Some of the cases like tuberculosis, pericarditis, in that cases we may give 2 or 3 drug antibiotics together. Okay, so this is the basic antibiotic policy or the clinical use of antibiotics you should remember in the clinical setting. So in this session we have given some questions at the end. You just try to answer, whether you are able to answer it or not, or you are able to understand the content. Okay, so these are all the questions for review. Define antibiotics, list down the mechanism of antibiotics, types of resistance we discussed, superbugs. List down the names of superbugs and complications of antibiotic therapy. So take down the notes and note and just try to write these questions or try to answer these questions. If there is any comments to be